Is your goal to get an A in the topic algebra? In my years as a teacher, the best strategy is to work through and complete challenge questions in your study. The style of these questions are non-routine problem solving. In this video, I'll explain how I attempt 3 different challenge questions so that you can feel more confident answering these in your exam. I'll be picking questions from any lesson in the algebra topic. Before watching this video, please check and see if you know all the skills from the following lessons. If you need to revise any knowledge, I'll leave a link to my algebra playlist in the description. Let's jump into it. Example 1. A student was asked to simplify 4y plus 8y plus 2. Their answer was 14y. How would you prove to the student that their answer is wrong? I can see that we're using the skills from the adding and subtracting algebra lesson. Next, we can set up the question and write it as an equation: 4y plus 8y plus 2 equals 14y. Well, one way to prove if both are equal, we can collect the like terms on the left-hand side and see if it equals 14y. When we collect our like terms, we get 12y plus 2. We can't add any further since 12y plus 2 are unlike terms. Another way to prove if they are equal is to use the algebra skill of substitution. This can also act as a way to check our answer if both proofs give the same answer. Now, if we imagine y equaling a particular number, and if we find one case where they are not equal, then this disproves that they are the same. For example, if hypothetically we think y equals 3, we substitute 3 in for y. Remember, the hidden operation between the coefficient and the y is multiplication. Completing the right-hand side, 14 times 3 equals 42. Now completing the left-hand side, we complete the multiplication first. We now get 12 plus 24 plus 2. Now complete the addition, we get 38. They are not equal. Example 2. An unknown number of friends went to a banquet meal costing $2 each. When the bill arrived, an unknown number of y people had already left. Write an algebraic expression used to calculate how much each remaining person paid. Here we're using the skills from the translating to words to algebra lesson. Next, let's summarize what each variable represents. P represents the beginning number of friends. Q represents how much each person paid at the start. Y represents the number of people who left before the bill. Now, reading the story to write an algebraic expression that represents how much each remaining person paid, we need to know how much the banquet costs, then we divide it by how many people were remaining. Firstly, figuring out how much the banquet costs, well, this is the number of friends times how much it will cost each friend. This is P times Q, which represents the total cost of the banquet. Now we divide this by how many people were remaining that paid. Well, if we started with an unknown number of people P, then an unknown number of people Y left before the bill. So to find the number of people remaining to pay the bill is P minus Y. We could also abbreviate the numerator to PQ. To check, we could simply substitute numbers into the story and see if it makes sense. If 10 people at the start were paying $5 each, then 8 people left before the bill. 10 times 5, this is 50, then divide by 2, which equals $25 each for the remaining 2 people. Example 3. Rebecca has drawn a design of a wooden roof on an outdoor area in her backyard. It consists of 4 brown rectangles. Write a simplified expression that represents the total area of the roof. Here we're using the skills of algebra as well as the skills of area, specifically the area of a rectangle. Let's summarize and write down the formula for the area of a rectangle. Its area equals base times height. Next, let's quickly recall the dash and the double dashes. The dash indicate that they are the same length, so we can write all these lengths as x. And for the double dashes, they also indicate that these are the same length, so we can write all these lengths as y. Now, to complete this question, we can do it in two different ways. Method 1. Find the area of one small rectangle, then times it by 4. Or method 2. Find the area of the large rectangle. Let's try method 1. We start by writing down the formula, and the base and height of this rectangle is x times y, or xy. Then we multiply it by 4, simplifying the algebraic expression for the total area being 4xy. Now, to check our answer, we could also solve this using method 2 and see if we get the same answer. Finding the area of the large rectangle, we need the base and the height. First, looking at the base is x plus x. Simplifying this is just 2 lots of x, or 2x. Similar, for the height, we have y plus y, which is 2 lots of y, or 2y. Now that we have the base and height, 2x times 2y, this equals 4xy. You now know how to answer challenge questions. However, there are 3 powerful reasons why learning algebra will change the way you think, solve problems, and even shape your future. Don't miss out. Watch the next video and you'll discover why algebra is more important than you ever realized.